Let's talk about an industry that's literally all around us, but that most of us never see. It's the massive, hidden world of wires and cables. This is the invisible network that powers pretty much everything, from the light switch in your room to the entire global internet. So, let's dive in. A great way to think about this industry is as the world's arteries and nerves. Seriously, power cables are the arteries carrying electricity, the lifeblood of our economy, and communication cables, those are the nerves, transmitting data and signals everywhere. It's the absolute fundamental infrastructure that makes our society tick.
And when I say fundamental, I also mean massive. In 2023 alone, the global market for all these wires and cables was worth over $211 billion. That is a staggering number for an industry that's literally hiding in our walls, under our streets, and at the bottom of our oceans.
Okay, so why is this hidden industry suddenly more critical than ever before? Well, it all comes down to three global megatrends that are creating this huge supercycle of demand. First up is the energy transition. Shifting to renewables is a huge deal, right? But it means we have to connect all these remote wind and solar farms to our cities. This requires a complete overhaul of our power grid, using massive amounts of specialized high voltage and even submarine cables. Second, you've got the EV revolution. Electric vehicles need way more complex, high-voltage wiring than any gas-powered car. And on top of that, think how building out the huge network of charging stations needed. That's a massive investment in brand new power cables. And number three is the digital explosion. Our hunger for data, for streaming, for AI, for everything, it all depends on a physical backbone of fiber optic cables. Every single 5G tower and every data center has to be physically connected, and that is just fueling this relentless demand. So what's the results of all these trends? Well, the market is projected to jump from about $211 billion in 2023 to over $281 billion by 2030. That's some serious steady growth, and it's all driven by the fundamental rewiring of our entire global economy. Now, with this kind of massive growth, you can bet the industry has turned into a high-stakes battlefield. We're seeing global giants making really bold moves to try and lock down market dominance for the future. And the biggest trend we're seeing in this fight is that the strong are getting stronger. A huge wave of mergers and acquisitions is consolidating the market, allowing a few dominant players to really pull away from the rest of the pack. You can see two competing philosophies at play here. On one side, you have Italy's Prysmian, the world leader. Their strategy is growth by acquisition, just buying up rivals like General Cable and Encore Wire. On the other side is their French competitor, Nexans. They're doing the exact opposite. They're focusing by divesting, selling off parts of their business to become a pure-play leader in high-tech electrification. Two giants, two very different paths to the top. The most advanced and profitable part of the market is for something called high-voltage direct current, or HVDC cables. These are absolutely essential for long-distance power grids and connecting things like data centers. And as this quote makes clear, it's a market run by a tiny number of companies where demand is just soaring. It's basically an oligopoly with huge barriers to entry. But the established European and American giants are now facing a powerful offensive from Asia. South Korea's LS Cable is aggressively building new factories in the US and Europe to compete head-on. At the same time, China's Hengtong Group, already a powerhouse in fiber optics, bought Huawei's submarine cable division to challenge in the undersea data network space. The global balance of power is definitely shifting. So, with all that said, let's meet the titans of this industry. Who are the key players actually manufacturing the world's arteries and nerves? First, you have to start with the undisputed king, Italy's Prysmian Group. They are the global consolidator, defined by that strategy of growing through massive acquisitions. With revenues hitting around 17 billion euros, Prysmian's scale is just unmatched. But their real strength isn't just making cables. They own their own fleet of giant cable-laying ships. This lets them offer complete end-to-end solutions for enormous projects. They don't just sell you the cable, they design, manufacture, and install the whole thing. Next up is Prysmian's biggest rival, Nexans, from France. Now, if Prysmian is all about scale, Nexans is all about focus. They are positioning themselves to be the world's premier electrification specialist. Pulling in over 7 billion euros in revenue, Nexans is pouring its resources into the most complex, high-tech projects out there. Their key strength is being a technology leader in the really demanding stuff, like advanced submarine cables and ultra-high voltage lines that form the backbone of modern power grids. Heading over to Asia, our third giant is Japan's Sumitomo Electric. And inside the cable world, they are the absolute, undisputed automotive powerhouse. Sumitomo is the #1 supplier of automotive wire harnesses in the world, but they're using that deep tech expertise to expand everywhere, even building a new submarine cable factory in the UK just for offshore wind farms. Their key strength? It's a decades-long reputation for absolutely unmatched quality and reliability. And now for the United States, where we have Southwire. They're a perfect example of regional dominance, the clear, undisputed champion of the entire North American market. At around $9 billion in revenue, Southwire is North America's largest producer. What's really unique is that they're privately owned, and their key strength is just total dominance and what you might call the bread and butter of the industry, all the building and utility wire that goes into U.S. homes and local power grids. And finally, let's look at the company that really embodies the industry's dynamic future. LS Cable and System of South Korea. They are the aggressive global challengers, and they're aiming to break into that top tier of giants. LS Cable's ambitions are absolutely global. Their strategy is all about rapid expansion, building factories in the US and Europe to compete directly with the big players on their home turf. Their key strength is mastering complex technology. Just like Nexans, they're a leader in those high-growth HVDC and submarine cables, proving they can compete with anyone on the planet. So what we have here is an invisible, absolutely essential industry that's in the middle of a huge transformation. The giants are chasing scale, the specialists are chasing focus, and new challengers are rising fast. The race is officially on, and it really leaves us with one big question. As our world electrifies and connects faster than ever before, who is going to win control of the arteries and nerves of the next decade?